Oh my goodness. Equipment failure. Grand rising, everyone. There may be a little bit of issue with the internet. Now, I have three internet where I am. I'm not in the country. I am actually in Kingston. But there might be a little freezing. I try to switch between them. One Digicel, one Flow. Flow is gone. And it looked like I'm now frozen, but I take it you're hearing me. Is that correct? Can you tell me if you're hearing me, please? Well, I'm frozen where I am, but I can see that I am very much visible. Top of the morning to you, Eddie Trent. Hi, Ricardo Hall. Or it's Richardo. Yes, loud and clear. I'm frozen at my end, but I can see that I am live. So I will continue. You know what they say, the show must go on. Arlene Perrin, good morning to you too. And Laurie McPherson, good day, good day. Beverly Clark, hi. Everybody has shared to at least one person. Yes, Derek, good morning. You're listening from London. Welcome in the house. Let's see, it's about midday, about 1 p.m. in London. And, you know, I'm going to do something about the time one of these days, you know. And someone might think you're out of this world, and it's only because they hear me about the politics. Let me sound like, you know, me in this world, but if you ever hear some of my out of this world ideas, you will all faint. Yes, Lola Bennett, good morning to you too. And all the Sterner family, yes, man. And let's see, you know, James Long, yes. Wayne, hi. Blessed Rising, yes. 2 p.m. in England, 2:28, indeed. Misty Blue, hi. And Marva, howdy. I never even get a chance. As I started thinking this morning about after 2, you know, I never get no chance. I never remember. Got my bed. But I have to set the alarm to make sure I can wake. Otherwise, I'd be late. All right, so I'm properly frozen here, but I can see myself on the thing. Let me see who else. Rohan Newland. Whoever I left out. Have I left out anyone? Beverly Clark. Hi, Prudence. Hi, Prudence. My beautiful Jamaican brothers and sisters, so very true. Even the one where we are going to talk about. We're going to mash her up a little bit, you know, but we have to remember, say, Afro we picnic. Yes, Afro we picnic. But you must learn to have sense and don't allow other people foolishness to lead her astray. Now, let me say, I'm going to switch this screen to this screen and see if I get any joy. Now, sir, program freeze up. Anyway, we're going to continue. The show must go on. So, grand rising to you all. Now, I may have a little difficulty, but we will get to that. So, let me thank you all, welcome you all to Jamaica 411. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I know that you have other things to do, but you decide to come here and listen to me and what it is I have to say. Yes, we're going to be talking about Patois. And no, it is not Patois. Everybody and in picnic is supposed to know by now that Patois is a French word that means broken French. Something to that effect. And therefore, everybody ought to know. I don't think Miss Lou had spelled it the way how we spelling it now, but they spell it the patois, which is where it actually came from. But I think our foreparents, them like that, so then decide to teeth it and call the language where we talk patois. Now, patois, we spell P-A-T-W-A. And those people at the University of the West Indies were trying to teeth with language and make it into something else that neither we nor the original people who spoke the language it intended to be. Patois is a derivative of the English language. If it wasn't, I couldn't understand it. Only one language me chat, and that is English. Them say, Patois is about 90% English. The rest of the word them, we make them up as we go along from one generation to the next, and the others coming from far back. Some of them will know the African word. You know the word uno. Uno. Make I put this thing up on give me a second, please. Did you know that the word uno, where we spell O-O-N-U, so me spell it U-N-U, some people spell it that way, O-N-N-O-U, whatever, but we see it and we know that it's that. A patois, you know, says free for all. So, uno is an Igbo word from Nigeria, and it means the same thing when we use it to mean you. It is an African word. So it look like so with four parents saying hear it and say, I like that one, yeah, no. Some other words come from the Iwe tribe that is now in, Benin and Ghana for the most part. And they have their own words. You have the Ashanti, you have the Fanti. But the Ashanti, I believe, has the most influence. Most persons adopted their way of doing things. And then you have, of course, the Fante people. Now, the Fante people used to be the ones, that used to be the go-between the Ashanti, one of the tribe them in Ashanti, and the white man on the coast. They used to carry the slaves to the Fante people. The Fante carry we go hand over to the white man. How the Fante people end up over here too, I don't know, but it served them right. And the Ashanti too. Yes, man. So anyway, so that now is Patois. So, Patois is English language. What it is that makes us different from everybody else is our accent. Our accent is unique. When you hear it, especially when you hear the BC and the RC, if you had any doubt, we love to go where foreign, And we're not so confident in speaking English because many people don't practice it. It's not that they don't understand it. Somebody call Nekeisha Burchell and Professor Caroline Cooper, for me, please. Call them, please. And tell them to come to class. I wanted to change my background, but the internet already under stress for some strange reason, right? So call them for me, please, or send this video to them when it finish. I am not a linguist. Nekeisha Burchell is a communicator. She's not a linguist either. And when it comes to Caroline Cooper, she's a retired professor of literary and cultural studies. So she will say that she have it pat when it comes to culture because she would have spent all her life fascinated by the subject. Even though she was educated abroad, no matter, you can still love something. So we're not going to take that from you, Caroline. I hope you don't mind me calling you Caroline. Of course not, you're not very formal. Neither am I. You can call me Michelle. No. So, Caroline Cooper is a retired professor at UWI. So she's not a linguist either. I'm not a linguist, neither is Nekeisha Burchell. So all the way up on the same footing. When it comes to the language, linguistic business, we are dunce. So we just try to trespassing or something where we may not fully and truly understand like them, the one that was studied and get, them professorship in it and all them same thing there. Now, when you talk about Patois, as I said before, you're talking about the English language. But it's the English language with some other words added to it, with some words in English pronounced different, right? So it's not that the word came from another place. It's just that we don't pronounce it the way it pronounced in English. The people who carry the language gonna give it, right? And so we end up with this cook and this big pot we call Patois, right? Now, if an Englishman were to come to Jamaica and him not used to hearing a Jamaican speak, it's going to take him a little while to catch on. Not to say, even if you're speaking English, in our accent, they may not catch on until they maybe catch a word and two, until, there's a rhythm to it, I suppose, and they have to get into that rhythm or they won't get it. And how me know that? One year I sit down and watch one show, I think it was 60 minutes. And me I wondered to myself, then how then I use subtitle and this is somebody I chat different language? I said, no man, this for me. Then I use a subtitle. So I say, you know what? Maybe I wonder if English in my chat. Somebody decided to listen good. It was a Scots, somebody from Scotland. I mean listen good, I catch one word. And when I catch that word, I catch another one. Right? And then 2, 3 more, and bam, me into the rhythm of whatever the person was saying, and I could understand everything he was saying, even though the accent was very different, right? But he was talking English. That's what I'm saying. When I was a child, I used to watch Sesame Street and Electric Company and all them, Bonanza and all them shows. Those are American shows. The first time I heard the English language spoken by the English people was a show called Upstairs, Downstairs. Now you old timers, how many of you remember it? Upstairs, Downstairs. I must look on YouTube and see if it's still up on it, Yes, man. Upstairs and downstairs. I better stay on to see if you hear me. Yes, let me make sure. So she feels she know it all. No, nothing is wrong with knowing it all, because guess what? Everybody then call me know it all too, And then one like know, so sometimes the things that I mean know, I just know. Right? Me just go look it up, read it up, and understand and come and explain. And I figure if me not know, maybe, some persons may not know either. So nobody beat her up too much, man. I wanna woman. My Golding is a different story. He's an enemy, right? From the enemy class. But and when I say class, I don't mean rich people. I mean white people from England. Yes, I'm away enemies. Always was, always will be. Now, it's like Downtown Abbey. Yes, if you're here for the first time, right? So what happened to me now? I couldn't hear. I just could not hear what they were saying. But I know it says English, right? I was a little girl, maybe about 9, 10, right? And I said to myself, I'm just listen. I just had patience and just listen. All of a sudden, I just catch the words them, and that's how I start to understand English people from then on. So if an English person or American or anybody from anywhere versed in English were to come to Jamaica and they heard the accent for the first time, no matter how good you talk, they will not understand. If them tell you they don't understand, don't feel insulted, right? Just speak a little slower, pronounce the word one at a time. At the beginning, you just say one word, and when they catch it, eventually move into the rhythm. That is what me know about language, right? That's for me, education. So Patois is a derivative of the English language. I think you hear, I think Miss Slow used to say, how Patois derived. You remember that? Mm-hmm. So, when the Parliament, and it's in the standing order, and let me see if I can find that for you, so you can see it in living color what the standing order says. The standing order says at 6. It says at 6. And let me see, I have to get closer to it now. It says, that is the index of the standing order, right? So I'm moving to the next page. And it says, the proceedings and debates of the House shall be in English language. Every petition shall be in the English language. Now, a lot of things that we inherit, we don't know where them come from. We don't know the reason why it is that these things are so. For example, when you're at school and then you have to line, first of all, you have on uniform. Why is it that you have on uniform? I don't know what English people are thinking, but I can think of a very useful purpose of uniform. Not only that, it helps the poor people, so them don't have to be wearing the same, clothes, them own personal clothes. But it also make for a uniformity. It is a unity. It's a uniform, so it's supposed to be uniform. So let me just put this thing on. I'm gonna put the one on my dep on. Somebody might soon call me. Just give me a second. Let me. Where is it? I just put in do not disturb on this so it don't disturb me. So the uniform is for uniformity. So when you go to school and your uniform is supposed to be 3 inches below your knee, and you have some people want to do it because they want to be them own individual and want to do as them please, and then put on this and then put on that, they're out of uniform. And that is not supposed to be. The idea of uniformity, in my view, it helps us to think of ourselves as a group, a united group. Whatever the British intended, that is what I think. When you put a child to line up, what you're teaching the child is patience. Be patient, because you have to really stand up in a line. Now, I went into a grocery store one day in Kingston. And, when you're in the store, you have the people at the front. I'm about third, so I stand up patiently, waiting, right? Because I know people are there before me, and I respect the people who are there before me. But a young fella, him came in. Very tall, young man. 20s maybe. And him, through his voice big and strong, him ball out where him want from where around our back, And that is when the idea struck me. And I said, you can know when a person go to school and is educated. And you can know the degree of education that they got. And somebody said to me, why you say that? I said, because when them teach you to line up in school, right? The girls first, the boys after, and whatever the arrangement, it is an indoctrination, them teaching you to be patient. So if you not go to school, right, where you're going to learn to be patient, it's not taught in the home. You understand? So when you come out on the road now, you have never acquired the discipline of being patient, because it's a discipline. And therefore, you don't want to wait, right? And that is what happened with some people, right? There. So these things are in our education system, but it's here for a reason. Everything is here for a reason. Good. So, when it comes to Parliament now, let's move to Parliament now. When it comes to Parliament, the instruction they say is in the English language. Patois is English language. But what they actually mean is standard English. It means our Jamaican accent, and not telling you if you talk like the Englishman or the American or the Australian or wherever, them telling you to speak with the pronunciations and not with the other African words, right? And there may be a reason for it. There may be a reason. Because when you think about big business people coming to Jamaica to invest, for argument's sake, they may hire local people to do research for them. They want to know the laws, so then we get the laws, the decisions of the court, them do thorough research, I imagine. Never asked me if you don't know yet. And they would also want to know what laws were passed in Parliament. Oftentimes, they may want to know the reason behind the passage, the thinking, because you pass law, but you want to know what was the intention of the parliamentarians. Now, so that may be an issue. That is one. What about 200-300 years from now? Language is not fixed in stone, but there are some parts of the language, particularly the language when it is in a dictionary, right? So you may have your language that you speak today. In another 100 years, it might be very different. That is why they have dictionary to control the change in language. So another 200 years from now, right? We certainly not speaking the English like how Shakespeare spoke it, or the people in 1800. It's different. When you read Charles Dickens, you see that the language that we're speaking now was almost developed from that time, because it's clear all of those 1800s writers and so on. But it doesn't follow that in another 100 or 200 years, the language will remain the same. Now, unless you create a dictionary for patois, before you start to think about making patois something that you can put into the record of Hansard in Parliament, you first need to make sure, in my view, that you have a patois dictionary. So that 200 years from now, when the law is still on the books, remember say law not just change so enough with every generation. If the law is still on the books, that generation will need to know what this thing they mean. You understand me? And the law is not going to change. So you have a dictionary that when you look up things like ultra-virus and all them kind of things that we're using now, and I'm sure we'll be using in the future, they will understand what it is you're talking about. Now, I don't think that was the reason why the British and Norman Manley and Buster made English the language. I think that the British wanted to dominate, even though them gone about them business, right? But we have to look at the practical use of the language. Them say English we talk. They say no patois in the Parliament. Just don't go into the Parliament with patois. There's another thing that I find very strange about these people that talking about patois, is that on the books, in the same standing order, it requires that the men, I never know that, because I remember when Danny Buck used to come in with a very elegant, what was that? Was he a Caribou suit? Very elegant, very nice. In the Parliament, in the standing order, it says clearly that the men must wear business suits and necktie. Why? Don't we have a cultural, some we own cultural things where we wear? Why the men can't wear that in the Parliament? Why they don't wear that in the Parliament? Why are they wearing business suits and tie? That is what you must talk about. Why you can't go in there with your head wrap and you have on your nice little, what you call them? I want to put in the comment section. Come in and know too much about them things, you know. What you call that plaid clothing that we wear during festival time and so on. That material. Anybody can tell me? No, I see Caroline Cooper. She's I would say Caroline Cooper is if I may take the liberty of calling her perhaps a Pan-Africanist. She certainly is an African-minded person. She not just talk about it. She wears the kente cloth, I think I saw her in one, from Ghana, and she have on her prints them. I used to say African prints, and she do her hair and wrap her hair, and I think she keep her hair natural. That is Caroline Cooper. Now I'm saying, why it is that them only pick on the language? I don't think that it is because them have any genuine interest in any patois talking in the Parliament. And you know why I say so? Because they themselves don't speak patois. If you listen to any interview with Caroline Cooper, she speaks perfect English. And if you listen to Nekeisha Burchell, she has an English that is a little spooky, right? But she talk English too. In the Parliament, you have a standing order, and you have standing orders and rules. Outside of the Parliament, there is no law that tells you that you cannot speak patois. As far as I know, the PNP constitution does not state that you must speak in English language either. And therefore, I want to ask Nekeisha Burchell this question. If you believe so much that the people of Jamaica's language must be respected and given put on the front page and not on the back page, why don't you first start to set the example, miss? Why is it that at the PNP conferences then you are talk English? You have an opportunity to talk patois to the people. When you're speaking to the constituents in South St. James, You don't talk to them in patois. You claim, according to you, in your parliamentary speech, that patois is what the majority of the people understand, almost implying that the majority of them don't understand English. So when you're at your press conference and you're talking in this English language, right? Not patois. You don't want your people in the South St. James to understand. Now, there is something that it does to us, Something happened to us when somebody stick a phone, in front of we and a camera. We just behave. We don't even know. We just automatically move into something, right? And we talk, depends, patois. We talk English. Some of us actually talk patois and then try to venture into English when we have a camera and a microphone before us, which is never a good idea. Talk the language where you feel comfortable with. We love to hear the language, especially what you are communicating. That is important, and that is all language is. Language is the means by which you communicate, and therefore it is very important that people understand you. And if you're arguing that in Parliament they should change the rules and make people in the chat patois because majority of them out there don't understand, why is it that when you're at the PNP conference at the leader of the opposition office or you're at party headquarters, you're not speaking in patois? There are no rules out there to stop you. But you're going in our Parliament, going to talk about patois should be spoken in there, and you're there and you're going to write this and you're going to write that. There was no reason why you could not state to the speaker before you start talking that there are these 2 lines and I'm going to use patois. That's the proper thing to do. And then you could have said to everybody, I was allowed to speak patois, right? Because I had to get permission from the speaker. And then you can make your point. But no, because you behave like hooligans in the PNP, you hooligans on the political platform, and now you gone in the Parliament with hooliganism because you think so you have power. At 28, you know, man, you powerful. You all behaving like a bunch of juvenile delinquents, and the Parliament look like it become a home now for juvenile delinquent picnic. You don't like to be treated like children, but why would anybody treat you like a child unless you behave like a picnic? Talk to me. Why is it that when you're doing your videos, Nekeisha Burchell, even the last one you did belittling the mace, not one word came out of your mouth in patois? P-A-T-W-A, patois. Why it is you have your chance, or your video, no laws in Jamaica don't prevent you from chat the patois, and yet you voluntarily don't speak patois. But because it is written in the rule in the Parliament, you feel say you're going to go disrupt the rules because you want to be an obstructionist. And you think that people out here like those things. You young, you don't know Jamaican people, right? Especially the women. You don't, nobody don't understand women, not even we women understand ourselves. You don't know Jamaican people. And you believe that what you're doing, it might be nice and you get like a pat on your back from your fellow people in the Parliament, hooligans, right? And you think that people out there like that. We know no can't help on yourself, You can't help yourself. So what me telling you won't be able to stop. And we said that before. You can be as subtle as like the people of this country is far more intelligent than you think. Now we need to ask the question, why is it that you do not speak patois? Why you not speak patois? Why Caroline Cooper, professor, why she does not speak patois in her communication? Patois, and even Miss Lou was guilty of it too. But Miss Lou would have been said, I would give her a pass because she was the one that was trying to make us see patois not as just a wrong language. She said, look, there are many words in the language that is actually natural and real language. Is not mispronunciation of words. or make up words and educate us in that way. But even Miss Lou herself, when she's in an interview, she talk English, right? But when she ready man, she busts out in her patois. She's a natural. Neither Caroline Cooper nor Nekeisha Burchell are naturals. Them don't talk it naturally because them not used to speaking it. Very likely, them could not speak it in their home before their parents. Probably get too biff and tell them to speak English. Talk and tell me, Nekeisha Burchell, if I lie me I tell. Did your father go into the church, in them church and talk in a patois? Huh? And if he did, if him is not a big educated man, then nothing is wrong with him talking in what he needs to speak in, because it's all about communication. The poor man out on the street and those people who talk patois every day of them life, they're not creating any fuss about it. We out here, we talking to them in our English and our patois, we going back. We no business with it. It's only uno people. Like a professor like Caroline Cooper and Nekeisha Burchell who is seeking attention. And only uno, I talk about patois must this and patois must that. And I have one more grouse before I go to the video. Right? I noticed that the university or whoever it was, them have a patois Bible. And I want you to listen to me, Jamaica, because this is a very serious matter. Patois is a derivative of English. When our foreparents, our ancestors came over here, brought over here, them trying to understand when massa, it was saying, by the way, bakra is actually an African word, you know. I did think so. It wasn't. Come from one of the languages, bukra, come from one of the languages on the continent, and we call it bakra, right? So when we came and trying to understand what bakra was saying, right, we developed ways to communicate, since the generations now cannot speak the language from the continent because them separate the children, move them around and prevent them from talking in one language. So them find ways to speak so that them don't understand, right? And so that is how the language developed. And then there are words that pop into the language from time to time, like sketel. Sketel is our generation, right? Word that we add to patois. And so, the language, I lost my train of thought, you know. Anytime you see me gone off too far. So, the language is our ancestral language developed on the slave plantation and beyond. Now, when these educated people take the patois language and change up the spelling of every single word and claim that that is patois, as some of my Christian people would say, that is a lie from the pit of hell. What is in that dictionary is not patois. Nobody not spell Jesus in a patois. Is not about speaking, it's about writing. And when we write patois, when we're up on Facebook and I chat to one another in a patois, we spell words in a particular way. The English words, we spell them the way how them we spell, and the words them like kya and so on, we spell them how it sound. What these people did was to change the spelling of Jesus, call it Jiisas. Who spell it so? Good, I must say G-U-D or G-O-O-D. Who in a Jamaica spell it so? Right? So what they have done is captured patois and turn it into something else. And I talk about, say, you must read and just follow the pronunciation. That is not it. That is not patois. Patois is English, natural English words, different pronunciation, and the other words that we take from different language, different African language and Portuguese and Spanish and all, wherever we get the word and we think they're nice, we use it. That is patois. So what they wrote into that dictionary, that Bible, is not patois. It is just these educated people. A take the language, a capture it. Now they want to put it into, I suppose, a dictionary. Nothing is wrong with a dictionary if they intend to use it. But the problem is patois is a free-flowing language. That's what makes it what it is. And when you start to put it in a dictionary, as I was suggesting that you should do if you want to put in a language in a parliament, when you put it in a dictionary, you're now restricted. And you're going to tell the children now, no man, that is not how it's spelled. It's spelled this way. No, that is not how it's pronounced this way, because you have different dialects, even in the same patois, in different areas in Jamaica, but not too far. You understand? So left the damn language alone, on educated people. On go along to the Greeks, and on go along to English people, and left with language alone. Now, having got that off my chest, I want you to now hear what Miss Nekeisha Burchell, she said in the Parliament. Now, listen to what she said. And when I said this young lady, and I want to pick me, when I want to beat her up too much, she a fooey. She might come from a different party, but a fooey pick me, and we have to recognize that, right? So we're going to school her this morning and educate her, because there are things that she's saying that she's either she know the truth and talking foolishness, which means that she's attempting to mislead the public, which is not a good thing. That is not your role as a leader. Your role as a leader is to educate people on matters that they do not know. You're not there like the white man, Nekeisha Burchell, to exploit our people. The white man fed our people a heavy dose of lies. Fed for them people another heavy dose of lies. Them tell for them people that them are the best in sliced bread. At them invent mathematics. At them do this and at them do that. Damn lie. All I come from out of the place where they call Kemet, where you have the pyramids and the obelisk and all them sitting there. Right? That's where most of everything come from. The foundation, and then people build on that. I end up with car and plane and all them sitting there. So then tell them these things, that them are the civilization and people in Africa live in a cave. And them live in a cave, but then say we live in a cave. Right? I don't know where we live in a cave for. When we had the nice sunshine year round. So them lie to them people to lift them up, because these are people who are basically coming from animals, right? They need a boost up. But then come to we and tell we now that we never do nothing yet. Everything is them. And that is what the education system is about. That is how it is. And we'll talk about that another time. Now, that is what they do. When they tell them people the lies, is to build them up. When they tell we the lies, is to bring we down, is to exploit us. When they wanted us not to take revenge on them, then tell we must love our enemies and find the partner of the Bible. That's it up, right? And then we all become Christian also, we believe in what is in it, and then now they manage to control it again after that. And then who don't catch with the religion, gone to science and catch them there so too, because of them are control the information. And all of it is propaganda, and all of it is intended to tell you, say, you not do nothing, and them are the boss, and therefore you need to keep them safe and sound and happy and well fed and all the rest of it. So their intention is to exploit us for a reason. Your job, when you take yourself put, say you're a leader, is to educate and bring people out of that. You're not doing that. What you're doing is following the white man, the only white man at the PNP. You follow him. And him you follow. And that uppity Negro, Peter Bunting. You're following them. You're not following what is set before you. You must lead and teach. That's what you must do, but that's not what you're doing. You are taking the example of that British tourist that catch up in our parliament, right? And his uppity Negro Peter Bunting. And instead of educating, you're exploiting. You're behaving like you're one of the colonizers. You are there exploiting them. And you are telling them all these things that are not true because you want to set a narrative of lies. And when you exploit black people, if they find you out, they never believe another word. And if they don't find you out, what you're actually doing is dumbing them down. You're not lifting them up. You need to stop it. Right? Now, if you did not know what you're saying was not true, then boy, you must have the dumbest thing on 2 foot. Right? You don't take time to educate yourself and find out things. There are protocols. Whether you like them, yes or no, there are protocols. And just like how you don't want nobody call you Mr. Burchell when you're a Miss Burchell, you do not mistake and give people titles they neither deserve nor appropriated to them. So let us listen to Nekeisha Burchell now.
Oh, should I come? Okay, good. Okay. You may begin. Madam Speaker, me get up this afternoon to make my first sectoral speech. My portfolio. Hold on. Standing orders. And I think you are fully aware. And if I have to stop you again during your presentation, you will not get any additional time. No, and she knows.
Broken English. It's English, broken.
Standing order 6, page 3. When I speak to this,
representation and culture. It's not Spanish. That's Spanish.
Madam Speaker, here allow me to speak. A leader. Madam Speaker, perhaps I should abandon that attempt to use our local language because I have been reminded of the linguistic conventions of this honorable House. Because maybe there is no more fitting way to begin a presentation on culture than to speak briefly in the language understood by the overwhelming majority of Jamaican people. Even if that language still struggles for full acceptance in some of our most formal national spaces, including this very Parliament. So let me give you the Queen's English. Let me give you the Queen's English. At the outset, permit me first to thank the Leader of the Opposition, the Most Honourable Mark Golding, for the confidence he has placed in me through this portfolio assignment.
Who is it that is referred to as most honorable? any person who has the title or who has been given or who has been preferred with the title Order of the Nation. That is usually the Prime Minister. That Prime Minister may, if they are there long enough, end up in the opposition. They still have the Order of the Nation designation, like a JP, and so it stays with them, and so you refer to them as the most honorable. So no, the leader of the opposition, the current one, Mark Golding, is generally not addressed as most honorable. And there is a protocol. The title most honorable is reserved for those appointed to the Order of the Nation, typically the Governor General and the Prime Ministers. Follow? Yes. Now, I see. So I can make you read now as we go along. You're able to hear me now, right? Here I am. No, I was not speaking, so you missed nothing at all. You missed nothing. Right. Now, it says the key details of addressing the position. So, as of May 2026, the current opposition leader is styled Mr. Mark Golding, MP. That is his title, Mr. Mark Golding, MP, just like every other member of Parliament except the Prime Minister, the Speaker of the House, and the ministers. They are honorable. The Speaker of the House and the Prime Minister, most honorable. And I'm going to show you the evidence, you know. Don't bother think I'm just leaving it just like that. Now, there was an instance where a former leader of opposition was conferred with the title Order of the Nation. That was Portia Simpson. When she was the leader of the opposition, she was also still called the most honorable opposition leader, right? Good. So you understand that. Now it says it is the Office of the Prime Minister's official protocol guidelines that dictate that the current opposition leader is not even styled honorable. You're not even going to style him as honorable. The ministers, honorable so-and-so, honorable Miss so-and-so or Mrs. so-and-so, or what, Dr. so-and-so. So you have honorable Dr. Horace Chang, honorable Favour Williams, and so on, right? The protocol. Every single society in the world that has become infected with the European state of government, they have a protocol guideline, right? How people must behave. Without order, what you're going to have? Chaos, right? Yes. And you don't want people to be offended and all them sitting there, so you have a regime, and everybody's supposed to abide by it. There are certain things you do when the national anthem is being played. There are certain things, you do certain way to stand up. I see people stand up with them hand over their hand like them American. No, your hand for their side like the soldier them. Right? The Americans have for them own, we have ours. We must follow ours. Not follow other people something. Right? Good. Now, let me see what else there is. Now it says, the formal style mandated by Jamaica's state protocol for the current office holder is strictly Mr. Mark Golding. Now, when it comes to cabinet ministers, while Jamaican cabinet ministers and Senate presidents are automatically granted the title the Honorable during their tenure, this courtesy prefix does not automatically extend to the leader of the opposition under the official modes of address protocol. So while the Speaker of the House is there, he's honorable, right? When he's not there anymore, is he honorable? I don't think so. But then I'm not quite sure, right? Because it says that during their, yes, when they are no longer ministers, they are no longer honorable. It's a title that's conferred on them because of the position that they hold. It's as simple as that. Now, The media houses, on the other hand, just like when them out there telling you about the police running after criminals, right? And them talking about murders. And we fall into the same trap too. We talk about murders that were committed. Murders, not homicide. Because when you talk about murders, then what you will do is tend to leave out the police killings. We need to talk about the homicides. If you talk about homicides, then you add up the police killing as well as the other people who appear to lose their life because of somebody's bad behavior, right? And you will also add a homicide, the killing of human, yes? So that's it. So the media houses now, they are the culprits, and them not know any better, so they may refer to Mr. Golding as honorable, them say as a courtesy, no, because they don't know no better. If them know better, them wouldn't do it. That's how we stay. We make everybody know, so we educated, so we now do nothing that our show so we know educated. That's just so it go. Right? Simple as that. Now, this now is the modes of address in the Jamaican order of precedence. And Miss Burchell, you would well be advised to get hold of this. You can get it from Jamaica House. I am sure probably you can get it from Parliament. I'm sure it's in the Parliament. I'm sure they have to submit one to the Parliament so everybody know where everybody stands. Now it is here that it says, the leader of the opposition, it says, the former leader of the opposition as a member of the Order of the Nation and was therefore formally styled the Most Honorable Portia Simpson Miller, ONMP. Edward Siaga was also given the title Order of the Nation. So he also would have been referred to as the Most Honorable. I think Bruce Golding declined his, and therefore he's just Honorable. The Honorable Bruce Golding still maintaining title. That is my understanding when them left office, right? Now, what do you do now? Now, let me go back. Now, it says, the present leader of the opposition was not conferred with the Order of the Nation and is therefore styled as follows. In writing, when you're writing to him, you are to say, Mr. Mark Golding, MP, leader of the opposition, 1 West King's House, Close, Kingston 6. That is what you put in writing if you're writing him a letter. When you're speaking in formal speech, such as what it was that Nekeisha Burchell was doing in the Parliament, you are to style him as the leader of the opposition, Mr. Mark Golding. That's it. So, Nekeisha, my dearest, no, he is not the Most Honorable Mark Golding. You should not go into our Parliament. I forget, our Parliament, where we appear for. Do not go into the Parliament and mislead the Jamaican people. That is not your role. Even if in your own life or in a party headquarters, and when you don't sit down and talk, or when you're not having a drink, or you sit down at the OLO and you want to call him Most Honorable, call him Deso. Do not go on go in our Parliament and refer to him and look like Juliet, she never noticed, or maybe she did, but she knows a 411 was going to notice and sort her out. Right? For her ignorance or stupidity. Which one is it, Nekeisha? Which one you want to think us? You want us to think you're stupid? Huh? With all that education you like to boast that you get from London School of Economics in communication. And you can pick up a simple document and read and understand and bring yourself up to speed. You're not ready for prime time, darling. I suspect you will be a one-term MP, because if you believe that what you are doing at the Parliament will influence anybody down in South St. James, you don't know Jamaican people at all. Action is what I'm looking for, not a bag of words. Right? So, if you think that what you're going on within the Parliament is going to impress them, or maybe then see you and tell you, yeah man, some of them, they're really bad, They may tell you, yeah man, and them sit down and say, a different story. Or some of them, lawbreaker and them like rebels. But believe me, the majority of the people are like rebels. They don't like them in them house, personal house. They don't like them in their workplace. They don't like them on the street with them bad driving and them misbehavior. And believe me, them don't want to see it in them parliament. But you want to carry on. If you don't think it going to get to somewhere, good for you. Now, when I told you that Miss Caroline Cooper not talk English, not talk Patois, here is an evidence of it. This now is third world. When Kakor died in February of this year, I believe, CVM did a feature and they were interviewing various persons. And the reason why I brought the entire clip is because I want you to hear people as they speak. They're going to be speaking in English, some of them in Patois. One man going to sing for you. Now you're going to think about him singing, but you might try something. And you will listen. They speak in the language and with whether Patois or English, standard English, depends on how comfortable they are. And when a camera and mic stick in front of them, them do them one thing, right? And so I want you to hear how the people express themselves. And then I want you to listen to Caroline Cooper and tell me if you hear one word of Patois come out of her mouth. These advocates, why is it that the loudest Patois advocates don't speak Patois? Except as a means of entertainment. When they want to say something, when they think funny, them talk it in a Patois to make we laugh. They don't take themselves seriously. So why should we take them seriously? Them don't talk Patois. And anytime you hear them talk Patois, it's to entertain other people. Even Miss Lou was guilty of it. Even though Miss Lou was really, I do believe, the first to try and educate we in terms of the language itself. But even we do the same thing too. When we want to say something, man, we just dropping our Patois, man. Because Patois is fun. Patois is a language where you can get vexed and cussing it and go on real bad enough. But it is also a fun language, and that is how we communicate. And they are no different. Patois is a talking point because they seem to think that maybe there are people out in the society, the majority of the people who speak Patois, maybe them think that, then we get some attention from it and, get some changes that they think needs to be done. And so then come talking about this thing. But the funny thing about it is that they do not speak Patois. So nobody now take them seriously. If you want people to take you seriously, that you want Patois to be in our parliament, or you want Patois to be a second language, why the backside you don't talk Patois? And why it is that the people who do talk Patois not out there and advocate for it? Them should advocate for it. Not you, because you don't talk it. And when you do go on a program that is about Patois, then you broke out in the Patois. But when you're on a program to be interviewed, different story. A large part of the problem, you see, I think with these people, like Professor Caroline Cooper and Nekeisha Burchell, is that they actually look down on Patois. They look down on Patois and the speakers of Patois. If you listen to them carefully, them talking about these people not able to understand English, as if to say these are some ignorant people like Nekeisha Burchell is ignorant. She think the people are ignorant too. And although you do have one or two persons, especially children, who never hear the language spoken, and then we catch on because of the same language in them Patois, the same language I'm hearing, except it organized differently. Right? They are talking about these people as if these people don't understand what the vast majority don't understand. Even me in the parliament, I don't understand some of the things that are being said. You go hear in our interview that she did on the morning program. Them actually believe that those people who speak Patois are some illiterate dunce people That's what they believe. And then trying to obscure them actual belief by claiming that this is a wonderful language and we need to do this and we need to do that because of the vast majority of the people. And they themselves not chat it. No, you explain to me why. And if you can't explain it, ask them to explain it. Make us see why it is that they're not what you say now. Oh, Dr. Michelle, no man, you can't talk them thing, man. I don't. Hey man, people must free for talk anything they want to talk. I'm not into this business of blocking people, you know. So I don't want YouTube to block my people. I make them chat anything. Then think me Dr. Michelle, Nekeisha, Burchell is bright. Fine. You're entitled to your opinion and it should be heard. Don't you agree? Let me see who this is. Angela hears things. Don't you agree with me? Yes, man. Your point must be heard. And since you're cussing me off, I hope you understand that my point ought to be heard too. You appreciate that? Yes. So we have a difference of opinion. We're not going to argue and quarrel about it. Good. Now, let us now turn to the CVM report.
As Reggae Month 2026 gets underway, the celebrations come at a time of reflection, following the passing of Stephen Katkour of Third World, and amid questions about whether reggae is being sustained for future generations. Our news team spoke to some pedestrians on the current state of the music.
Reggae music means resilience to me. It's the voice of a people who will never give up their culture, give up their voice, no matter what faces them. It doesn't matter the issue of fame or what people say. Jamaicans will be Jamaicans. We will do what we do the way we do it. That is what reggae is.
I would say reggae is a lifestyle, the culture of Jamaica, you know?
To me, reggae music means everything. Breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Once you think of reggae music or once you think of Jamaica, you think vice versa. So you hear about reggae, you think about Jamaica.
It's a vibe in itself. It represents us, the people of Jamaica, and not just Jamaica, but worldwide. Like reggae is a thing that just showcases Jamaica.
Oh, it is you I'm depending on, and I saw that first love that I gave. Oh, yeah.
Reflecting on the life and impact of Stephen Katkour, Professor Emerita Carolyn Cooper highlighted how his innovation helped expand the musical boundaries of reggae.
I think that the most exciting thing for me about Katkour was his use of the cello in reggae. You know, we tend to think of reggae and classical music as completely different spheres, but Kat knew that the cello would have had a big impact in reggae, and he just brought it in. So for me, that is one of his visionary moves, recognizing the sophistication of reggae, that it could flex, it could adapt, it could accommodate all kinds of musical instruments.
So you heard Miss Carolyn Cooper. She don't want anybody to confuse her and think that she's among the uneducated class of people who talk patois. So whenever she's before a camera, she wants you to know, even though she know patois, she wants you to know that she's educated and she can talk English. Right? The same thing is true of anybody else who out there advocating for patois who not talking it. Tell me in the comment section. I see Miss Angela, she yes, you know warring, but you can go and talk, man. Have fun. We're all we are Jamaicans, we just simply have a difference of opinion. And people must talk when they want to talk. I'm not into the censorship business. So, that is Carolyn Cooper. Now, you've heard people referring to language, the patois, as part of our culture. Yes, it is part of the culture. It is a way in which we express our thoughts. And language, as you know, is the purpose of language is to, express your thoughts, way in your head, and you can communicate to somebody else. That is why you would rather not be the only person speaking English amongst Russians who don't talk English, because then you can't communicate, right? So, it's a group of people speaking the same language, And in Jamaica, you're born in Jamaica, you live in Jamaica for a very, very long time. Almost everybody, even the top people, them, whether them white, them black, them Jew, them Chinese, it is the accent that makes us unique. And we're proud of that, the accent. No, we are the only ones basically who speak with this particular accent. I've heard Ridley Jacobs, the cricketer, former West Indies wicketkeeper from Antigua. I sit down and listen to him in an interview, and I said, but wait, I never hear them say him have a Jamaican in him background, but them have parents or so. And even the way him pronounce the ER, we say like in world, yeah, that ER sound, I should say. The ER sound, IR sound, we say things like earth. Them other people say earth, then pronounce the ER sound, air. We say like the Americans. He pronounces the words them just like us, just like a Jamaican, right? So I don't know what his heritage was, but you do have people in the beg your pardon, people in the Caribbean with their own unique accent. The Bayesian have their own accent. The Trinis are notable for their own accent as well. Even the Africans have their own English accent. Everybody everywhere in the world, once upon a piece of rock, they have a slightly different accent in English, right? Yes. And even in England itself, a whole heap of different group of people were conquered. And when them speak in the English language, them talk with different accent, right? You have Sydney and Cockney, you can hardly understand that when they're ready for chat it, right? Good. So language is the means by which you communicate. And Patois facilitates communication of our thoughts in Jamaica. But it is not culture itself. Culture is about what you believe. Let me see if I can find it. They kind of mix up. It kind of mix up. So let me see what I can find from it. Yes, man. Beg your pardon, this time of the morning, that is how my throat misbehave. Now, I am going to have to scroll through it. Let me go back, because it kind of mix up. So I am going to have to read it to you. Now, they say that culture is what you believe, your lifestyle, your way of doing things, and it is in the dance. It's expressed also in dance and music. So your belief, what is it that you believe? You have some superstition. You have some people down in the country that believe that a child grow by you stretching them. So when them a baby, them hold them by one foot, and then they take another foot, and then they grab them by the arm, and then grab them by the other arm, just the arm alone, and then the head, right? And that's how them think the baby grow. In the country also, they think that a belief that they have is that people have straight nose, according to them, by putting clothespin on the bridge of the child's nose. And then somebody run me down one time and say, yes, I saw people get straight nose. And I have to explain to them. I said, no, them parents have it, and so them inherit it. And if somebody in them background don't have it, then not going to inherit it, right? That's a cultural belief in many places, right? So you believe what it is that your lifestyle, dance, your music, all of these things will form part of your culture. And the language is what facilitates the communication of that culture. So we're not to believe that language, patois, is a culture in of itself, in the way in which you might say English is a culture of the British. No. It is simply the communication mechanism. In other words, people of similar culture can speak different languages. You get me? You have people with our culture, like the Ashanti. We have some of the culture from Ashanti, from Ewe. We don't speak those languages. and yet we practice some of the things that they practice and believe some of the things that they believe. When we're sick, some of people go to a doctor, other people go to the medicine man, what they call the mother, obia man, whoever, gifted with the sight of vision. You know, when we want to know, some go to church, and pastor tell them, and some go to the seer, who will tell them, and all them kind of something there. All of this is part of the culture, right? So I just want to make that clarity for you. Now, what else do I have for you? I think oh my, I can't believe. I forgot that, I forgot to put up that, I forgot to include Nekeisha Burchell's interview on the morning program. And there is no way I can do it now because this program is not like, let's see, that's her in Parliament, that's a standing order. That program is not like StreamYard. I think I might dump it for StreamYard. You know, StreamYard, no, me just quick and put it on. This one going to cut me off. So I don't have that. But on that program, again, Nekeisha Burchell was not speaking patois. No. At a piece of the interview, she broke out and said something in patois, but all of it was in English language. And she was talking about these archaic colonial thing that discriminating, basically that's what she said, discriminating against patois. And here she is communicating in English and talking about, you know, and talking about with patois. So they need to come and explain how that work, how it work, right? Now, let me see if there's anything else. I don't think there's anything else. I don't think there's anything else. Yes. So these, oh, it has the same title. You're not supposed to. Let me go to the main one. So, the question I want to ask, are Nekeisha Burchell and Caroline Cooper ashamed of patois? Why don't talk it? Unashamed? What are you thinking in the comment section? Talk to me and tell me what you think is the reason why these ladies who are supposed to be, well, certainly Caroline Cooper. Nekeisha Burchell, I think, is just seeking attention and trying to get herself in the public eye because she somehow think that will make the people in South St. James think that she's doing something. That's how it works, darling. That's how it works. That's how it works, and it will never work like that. People in Jamaica are smarter than one think, right? Particularly the one them when as educated as one are them smart. You can fool the educated one, you can't fool them because they not listen to UNO. Right? What they are listening to is the reality on the ground. When them patrol no fix, right? When them road mash up, those are the things they respond to. And you come tell them about you go fix patrol and you go fix road, and you don't do it, you go tell them no about government. You never tell them that when them vote for you. So they don't want to hear that. You find a way to make it happen. That's just how it is. Right? You have to go friend up over the government, so I go friend them up and see if you can get your road fixed. Now, I am going to come back about Nekeisha because she's a very interesting lady, you know. She's putting herself out there when she's not quite ready to put herself out there. She's not ready yet, right? She's not ready yet. She not have enough information that will make her a superstar so that she can go out there. What she's doing is going out there with all this information, and poor people may not know, but there's an instinct with we black people that tell us that what them are here are foolishness. And can't tell her why, but they know there's something all right with what them are here. She don't understand that. So she think because them not lettered like her or go to the London School of Economics or go learn communication or have PhD in this, that, and the other, them stupid. No, they have more sense than you. Right? And coming next election, you don't fix them road and fix them patrol, and you will soon see if them is as stupid as you think they are. You run up and down to a radio station and all this attention. Right? Christopher Tufton when he was in Southwest, St. Elizabeth, Right? He was a minister, and you see him almost every day on TV, and he loses his seat by 11 votes, my dear. I saw it go, you can't fool them. Right? But we're going to bring something else on her. So let me not keep you any longer. I think I've kept you long enough. I hope I have made the point that these people are pretenders. They don't want any such thing to happen as them proposing. They want Patois to be an official language. You cannot make Patois an official language because Patois is English. Simple as that. Patois is English. Some words pronounced different. Addition of additional words. It is English. So I don't know how you go about making it a second language as if it's a different, distinct language. It is mutually intelligible. Right? Yes, in many cases. Right? If you catch the accent, you will understand what the people are saying because they are speaking English. Me can't do that. There's also context. You can't do that, boss. Boss, what you are do? What you are do? Right? All of those words are English words. Pronounced slightly different from how other people pronounce it. So I don't know. You tell me what you think. If you think it should be considered a language, and we have to get the linguistic people at work because we're not hearing from our linguistic people, we are hearing from other people. So we need the linguistic people to come and break it down for we and tell we what them think is what. That is my view. Let me all thank you for joining me today. I am getting closer and closer to the hour. That means to say I am spending less time chatting. I want to do the program for an hour, but when you can't help it, me just start chat. Anyhow, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. Please remember to share the video and remember give the video a thumbs up. Let me see how well we're doing so far. Oh man, we have one nice. And I know we get 1,000 at the end of the day. Yes, share the video now, please. And see if you can get it to Miss Burchell and tell her the timestamp because, you know, yes, some of the people are busy and they want to get to the point. Although they are educated people and they're supposed to be disciplined in listening for long hours and reading for long hours too. Yes. So let me thank you for joining me today, and I will be back. I can't tell you later or when, but I will put out proper notice because I have my video in line up, all three of them in line up in a row. So until next time, take very good care of yourselves and walk good.